Okay, I guess we have reflected on what our key learning is from your yesterday's session. And now you could post your responses. Kindly press enter and post your responses. Okay, I'm waiting to read. Well, thank you. Virendra learned about how to identify indicators in a project according to our objectives. Thank you very much. And not just indicators, but gender responsive indicators that help you track to what extent your project is reaching, is benefiting, and empowering men and women. Thank you, Roy. We learned the process, output, and outcome indicators and concepts on measure and monitor it quantitatively or qualitatively. Yes, these gender responsive indicators could be qualitative, but they could also be quantitative, differentiating the goal, output, outcome, and activities. That's very great. Thank you, Denish. And Saila emphasizes about, learned about the idea about process, output, and outcome and their differences. Great. This is good. Thank you so much. And keep your thoughts coming. Keep posting in the chat. We shall keep reading them as we go along. Others can benefit from your learning, and collectively we can continue to see where are the opportunities that we can implement going forward. Next slide, please. So today we have an exciting lineup, being our last day of the course. And we shall just start off by finalizing where we ended yesterday on gender responsive theory of change, monitoring, learning, and evaluation. If you recall, you had an assignment that you had to work on. So here we shall be going forward with this. And once we do that, we shall have a short break. After the break, we shall have you, our dear participants, share with us what have been your key take-home messages from this part 2 of the training. So each one of you think through and identify what is it that you think you can do or implement in the short run based on your learning. And then also the long term, after maybe 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, what's the learning that you're going with that you hope will integrate in your long-term activities, research work, yeah. And then we shall have the course evaluation and the closing session. So at this time, I'm going to invite my colleague, Godfrey, to take over and share with us the remaining part of the content that we started on yesterday. Godfrey, over to you. Godfrey, you're muted, just in case you're already speaking to us. I haven't seen your video as yet as well. Yeah.
There you are.
Yes, now I can see you.
Thanks, Rosita. Thanks, colleagues, for coming again for this last day of the course. Yesterday, we did look at what we have to do in gender responsive monitoring, learning, and evaluation, and also looked at the indicators. But now we want to sort of share the strategies we need to keep in mind as we do implement the monitoring. I emphasize that it's important to be intentional right from priority setting all the way through to dissemination or communication of the results, that the entire process integrates gender such that we can be able to say we've been intentional in moving towards the gender equality outcomes that we set out to achieve. So at the stage of priority setting, these are some of the issues you may need to take into consideration. A project should consult with both men and women, beneficiaries, or their organizations, and other relevant stakeholders, such that you clearly identify the gender considerations in the context, and then you are able to bring them on board during the priority setting. The research design process should engage with, again, conduct a thorough gender analysis in relation to the topic that you want to do. You start with the general background, what are the disparities? And then now you move closer home to what you want to do, to be able to articulate for this project. These are the disparities we are likely to see, and this is what we intend to do about it. So you clearly state that, and that process should help you to articulate your gender equality results explicitly when they are well linked to the analysis of the context, but that analysis is informed with a gender lens. And as you articulate the methodology in, say, in the proposal or in the project design documents, there's need to address the potential gender differences in the needs and disparities, say, in participation and also in benefits. So yesterday we did talk about the need to think through the barriers that may affect participation of different categories of men and women or in the project, and also benefiting, but also looking out for clear strategies to address this. So the strategies should really be informed with evidence. So this should be evidence-based strategies such that you can bring them on board in your program. It's not just to say, okay, we'll target 30 women, or we target this category. Why are you targeting that? What are the reasons behind this? Where is the evidence to say that that's the group, or it's important to do this and this to reach that particular group? And of course, it's quite critical to also think about interdisciplinary research teams with gender capacity. Both men and women being involved on the team, but also ensuring that within the team, you have people who have the skill sets to do this gender analysis and support the integration. So as we move now to the implementation stage, you now put into practice the strategies that you identified or you planned within the research design stage. So you need to implement them, ensure that there is adequate funding for gender responsive activities. For instance, if women are going to come to a meeting point and these are breastfeeding mothers, they are not going to leave their children at home if they are ready to participate. But when they may come with a helper. So if you are budgeting for refreshments, you don't only budget for this one person, but also the people who are going to support her to meaningfully attend that engagement. So those have budgetary implications, and you need to think through those aspects as you implement the program or to ensure you budget for it. When it comes to collecting data, we emphasize using mixed methods. I saw in the presentations when you were talking about the questions and what you are the kind of data you are going to do, lots of you were proposing to use both qualitative and quantitative data. So yes, it's vital to use the mixed methods data, mixed methods to collect data from both men and women as you target. So the sex disaggregated data should be analyzed to explain the potential gender variations and inequalities within men's participation in both in the activities, but also as we reflect on whether they are benefiting or not. So for the monitoring bit, monitoring is going to come back and look at this entire process, but we emphasize the need to develop gender responsive indicators. We spent time yesterday to look at that. And then the issue of collecting, analyzing, and reporting the data on both men and women, not only on women. So you look at the participation, you look at the benefit, you look at the changes in their livelihood outcomes, and definitely the impact on the gender relations. And you track and report on the gender integration into the activities. These issues which you've been doing at design, the issues which you've done in implementation, how effective have your strategies been? You need to document what have you done differently with regards to integrating gender. So you reflect and apply the insights to do, as I said yesterday, adaptive management. If something hasn't worked well, you need to ensure that, yes, maybe our targeting was not done so well. Next time around, we need to change it this way such that people really come on board and their views are captured. When it comes to communication, you need to think through the appropriate communication products, but also the appropriate communication channels, which must be used to share the results with the various audiences. I think it was Vinendra yesterday who was talking about what do we need to think through if our project is about dissemination. So this is something which is critical. You need to say, are the products that we are using accessible to the different categories of men and women? If they are smallholder farmers, take into consideration their literacy levels, take into consideration the access to the channels through which you are relaying these communication products, and therefore the effectiveness of those methods that you are using. The gender relevant findings are used to inform and are included in relevant project outputs, as well as communication products. So we do not develop all of this process, and then when we come to producing the reports which go to our directors or our donors, we've not reported our findings, gender relevant findings to those different audiences. So it's critical that all of those issues are taken on board. So you need to review and critique the gender integration activities and the process you've used. So you ask yourselves, what happened in your project to address gender inequalities or other gender issues? How do you feel about the gender results in your project? For instance, if we are talking about participation, how do you feel about the participation of both men and women? How do the attained results compare to what was expected? If we thought that 50% of the host farmers for our demonstration plots or seed multiplication plots should be women and 50% should be men, what we find once we've done the activities, what is the attained results vis-a-vis that set target? And therefore, we assess effectiveness of the deployed strategies. So think, reflect again on the findings. So what difference does this make? What came through to you as very important when integrating gender into the project? And all of this once you've asked yourselves these questions, as you pause and reflect on how you are doing things, then you should use those findings to decide the required course of action in terms of what will you do differently in your next interactions and working with men and women to ensure effectiveness and progressively move towards attainment of the gender equality results. So you keep monitoring this process at periodically reflecting how the process is working out, such that you don't wait at the very end to do a post-mortem. There you are not going to save the patient. As we do monitor, many times in our projects, we do write, when we are designing the projects, we do write risks and assumptions. There is a column, or you are required to have a section. And many times, the last time you look at those things is when your proposal has been accepted, and then when you are writing the final report. But I am here to implore you to say it's quite important during the implementation of your monitoring processes. It's vital to carefully monitor the risks and assumptions and use that information to modify the project or to ensure that things work better. You ask yourself, what may hinder men or women from benefiting from the project? If you thought that some partner or stakeholder is going to play a role in mobilizing these men and women and they come for their activities, if that's the assumption you made and that partner doesn't perform, then things may not work. That's why you have to monitor these assumptions. You have to monitor the risks. Could unintended negative results occur due to project implementation? That should be given special consideration. Your project is out there to improve food and income security at the household, but the income may bring problems. The increased production may bring disagreements in this home, and you need to think through what assumptions are we making there? What do we do? What kind of strategies or what kind of interventions do we bring on board? Or do we engage with particular stakeholders to ensure that we influence that positively for the good of our project? So those are critical issues to take into consideration. I'll now pause if there are any questions about these few issues we've raised.
David, you have a mic unmuted from Danish. Maybe you can just go back. You can just speak to us, please. Proceed.
Oh, okay. No, sorry. It was unintended actually. Pardon me for this. I'm not asking any question.
Okay. Thanks, Danish. I think if at this point people don't have questions, let's move to do the exercise. Liz will, yesterday you did access the write-up and you read through individually. So today, the task is we'll go into breakout rooms in accordance with the groupings that we have been assigned. So Liz will help us get into the breakout rooms. And once we are into our breakout rooms, group one, you'll focus on the goal and output one. Those outputs are numbered. Then Group 2, you will focus on the purpose and output too. So for each of the outcome or output assigned to your group, you develop 2 gender responsive indicators, one quantitative and one qualitative. And then you specify the information that you have to measure so as to track that outcome or output indicator. So please, I think, help us get into the breakout rooms, and we'll take 20 minutes in there. So once you are there, please get a person who would serve as the chairperson, and also you nominate a person who will share back to the plenary once the exercise, the 20 minutes are over. Thank you.
Thank you, Godfrey. The rooms are opening now. Hello, Prof. I see you've moved out of the room.
Hi.
May I start on part of our group?
Please go ahead, Denish.
Okay. Thank you, trainer. So we are given tasks on the output 2 and the purpose of the given concept on rice production technologies in case of Nepal. So basically we are advised to work on outcome and output level and the indicator and what are the key information to measure. So on qualitative part of outcome level, we have written like, based on your experience, what were the challenges for men and women farmers in the adoption of these technologies? So
one small thing, can we push the slide because we asked this group 2? I think we can still see in the screen only group 1. So
okay, haven't I shared the screen?
No, I think screen is being shared by someone else, but can we just move?
Is sharing the screen.
Elizabeth,
I'm
can you
sharing
move?
the screen. It is a Word document. Can you see
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, but can you move to group 2 section because this is group 1. We are in group 2. Dinesh is presenting for the group 2. Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
yeah. Oh.
Great.
Okay.
So have you come? Okay. So
Just a minute. Okay.
okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So There are two things we are going to measure here: outcome statement and output statement. On both part, we are going to discuss on the two types of indicator, qualitative and quantitative. First, I will talk about the outcome statement. And as I said, there will be two types of indicator, qualitative and quantitative. On qualitative part, the indicator will be like, based on your experience, we are asking these things to the farmer. Based on your experience, what were the challenges for the men and the women farmers in the adoption of these climate resilient technologies? And the information which we are going to measure against this statement will be the challenges in the adoption of these technologies. So there will be certain procedure to measure these things. And on quantitative indicator, we will measure the percentage of the male and female farmers. Oh, my screen suddenly dropped off. I cannot see the screen.
Liz, we've lost the output. Please, can you share again?
Okay. On output level, percentage of male and female farmers with access to the information about climate adaptation technologies and the practice. And another one is the productivity level increased or decreased after adapting these climate resilient technologies. So the information we are going to measure here is the percentage of male and female and productivity per hectare. This is an outcome level on quantitative part indicator. So now we are moving towards output statement. Again, there are two types of indicator, qualitative and quantitative. On qualitative part, the indicator statement will be like, which of the new climate resilient production technologies and practices has been the most important for women and men farmers in your community and why? And the information which we will be measuring is like awareness and knowledge about the new technologies. Again, at the quantitative front, percentage of male and female farmers aware of the climate resilient rice production technologies and practices once they are sensitized or they are provided training. Then again, gender differentiated climate resilient practices cited as the most important for adapting to climate change by farmers. So the measurement will be like knowledge about the new technologies, number of farmers who are sensitized on the climate change resilient technologies, influencing change of attitudes and practices that impairs men and women's equitable participation. Any feedback will be welcomed and appreciated. Thank you. Hello.
Thanks, group 2. Let's also get from group 1 and we discuss at once.
Okay.
I think Biswaranjan, you can take this. Is it?
So it will be better if you can just.
Okay.
Thanks.
So as per our discussion, group 1, we will start with the output first. Output. So we have to push little. Yeah. Okay. We will discuss output, then we will move to the outcome. In output, we identified the statements into two parts, like quantitative and qualitative. What are the qualitative and what are the quantitative indicators in that? So in quantitative, the percentage increase in the credit availability for the women. How much credit availability will increase as compared to the men, or maybe earlier to 2018 and after the 2018. what is the change in the credit availability. And then this is like related to the outcome. Outcome will be in terms of how much there is an increase in the purchase of technology. Okay, how much there is because of credit availability, how much there was a change in the purchase of technology or maybe the input before 2018 and after 2018. And then it was like how we can measure it. The measures will be like frequency and budget of the technology, or maybe like input purchase. Then in case of qualitative indicators, it was related to analyzing the attitude and behavior of women and men. What is the like attitude and behavior earlier, and how it is like it has changed with the with the time, and whether they are adopting climate resilient technology, production technology like new varieties or maybe other things. Then it was related to the nutritional security. One thing was related to nutritional security, whether there is increase in the nutritional security. This nutritional security can be measured by the number of cases of malnutrition or nutrition related disease outbreak, or maybe like nutritional related mortality cases. And so this is like whatever like we discussed in this group.
Thank you, the two groups, for the work and sharing your outputs. Now, may I ask, which type of indicators between qualitative and quantitative was easy to develop or to articulate from your perspective?
I think the quantitative ones were easier.
Yes, yes.
We were finding actually qualitative ones very difficult, because we have to see what is that we can ask a farmer. Will they make sense if the question is so open-ended, and a lot of concerns were there. Yeah.
Okay. Any other view? Yeah, I can see Saila is saying quantitative is easy.
Maybe like we can say they are more tangible. We can see them, and for qualitative, it is like little bit difficult. Sometimes it takes more time. If the project is for a few years, then it may not be like so much clearly visible.
Okay, now the implication of this, we will share some references. You need more time to familiarize yourself with articulating the qualitative indicators. Now, what I will need to say is some of the indicators you've put across, and as you think about the indicators, it's not about the question you have to ask the farmer. We said the indicator is a pointer or a signal that we've achieved, or we are on the road to achieve that output or that outcome or impact, okay? So we want an indicator which will tell us how far have we gone towards seeing that more people, there is increased adoption of climate resilient rice production technologies, or an indicator which will tell us whether there is increased food security within the households. So from a qualitative perspective or from a quantitative perspective. And the other issue to keep in mind, that indicator should be gender responsive. Because if you only say, for instance, increased nutritional security, it's increased nutritional security for who? For people in New Delhi or for the smallholder farmers? And in that case, which categories of smallholder farmers? The indicator should allow you to be specific. You know, there are people who say it should be SMART, specific, measurable, attributable, or attainable, okay? Realistic and time-bound. So those issues, you need to keep them in mind as you look at the indicator. So some of these indicators, please, Liz will share the output with each one of you, but you need to reflect back using the principles we discussed yesterday. Do these indicators meet the yardstick of being gender responsive? Okay, but also I want to emphasize the fact that as you articulate the indicator, it's not the question you ask the farmer. Maybe the kinds of question, when you think about the questions to ask the farmers, when you are looking at the key information to measure, because there you are trying to unpack the indicator, okay? So, challenges men and women farmers face in adoption. Maybe you are looking at farmers' views on ease of applying these climate resilient technologies, or views on factors influencing their adoption, okay? Factors, change in access or change in ease of adopting these technologies. Then you can say, okay, what are these challenges for men and women, okay? So who is facing which challenges and what category of challenges are they facing? Are there differences in the challenges experienced by different categories, okay? But also we need to make sure that the indicator we are talking about is really looking at enabling us to measure that particular outcome or output. So in this case, for group 1, percentage of male and female farmers with access to information about climate smart agricultural technologies and practices, would that signal whether people have increased their food security? You can
But,
see that.
One small thing, but that is not the question that group 2 is addressing, right? Because I think if you're checking the group 2 question, nutritional security was not part of our assignment. That was for group 1.
Okay, what I was reflecting on what I'm looking at on the screen.
Oh yeah. This is
But anyway, even when it is around the adoption, the access to information is at the lower level, because as a program or a project, your output should really work towards ensuring you are accountable for ensuring people that use communication channels which people they can access. So that can be an indicator at the output level. This one is, the second is an indicator at the of a measure of adoption, but the issue with it is it's not gender responsive, okay? So we need to ensure that, yes, the indicators at the right level, they are gender responsive, and we make sure that both qualitative and quantitative are articulated, okay? Because as I emphasized yesterday, getting only the quantitative indicator will tell us just half of the story. It will not tell us why we see differences or how those differences are influenced, okay? So I think that's the feedback I wanted to share. So once you receive this, and then the literature, that reference material that will share in the slides, please do read further and familiarize yourself with how to articulate these indicators using the examples we have in the slides, but also in the reference material. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Godfrey. We appreciate, and thanks all the participants for engaging in the breakout room and being able to come up with qualitative and quantitative indicators. I saw Sila, I think, posted in the chat, and she indicated that collecting even qualitative data is very difficult, yeah? And I think, as we could have seen from most of the respondents, they indicate that quantitative indicators were very easy for them. But just to re-emphasize the fact that when we are doing gender responsive research, it actually calls for that engagement with the mixed methods, so that at the end of the day, you have either the qualitative support the quantitative or quantitative support the qualitative. So you need to engage with both the qualitative and quantitative intentionally, to be sure that at the end of the day, you get a complete picture of what it is, yeah? So at this time, we are going to have our break. And since we are just coming from our breakout rooms, I want to request that we have a 5 minutes break, and you can pick a cup of coffee, cup of tea, glass of juice, glass of water, take a stretch for just 5 minutes. Yeah, so that means 18 minutes on top of the hour, we shall be continuing. Yeah. Liz, I don't know which music you have for us in store. Yeah, you can kindly put something for us to keep people shaking around and energized for the next session. And when we return, we shall be going through now your sharing of your key learnings from this part 2 of the training. Yeah. Thank you, Liz. I can see the music loading. Stretch. Okay. Great. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And here in this screen, as you're seeing, we are looking at your key take-home learning from this part 2 of the training course. And we just want you, one is to explain that one thing that you have learned very well, and you are confident that you're going to be able to implement this in your research work. Yeah. And this, in the first part, we want to hear, you'll be sharing 2 learnings. One learning, the one that you'll be able to implement in the short term, that is within at least 3 months. And then within, beyond 3 months, what is that one thing that you anticipate you will be able to implement in your research work? That is the long-term goal or the long-term application of the learning. So at this time, I'll be calling by name each one of you. Since if I just say people volunteer, we may take much longer. And we anticipate that you already wrote down this. So we put 3 minutes, but in case you can share, let's say you can share in 2 minutes, that will be perfect. And I hope you have seen the emphasis that we want you to explain. Don't just mention, please explain that one thing. So at this time, I want to suggest that we start off probably with Roy. Roy, I've always seen your video on throughout the training, throughout the week. So I'm going to start with you so that people see your video and they can emulate you once you're done with that speak.
Okay, thank you very
So
much.
I'll remove my video so that we can see the video of the participants. Yeah.
Shall I?
Yes, please proceed.
Okay. First, I want to give a big thanks to the great team and Makerere University and Cornell University to give me the opportunity for participating in this fantastic training program. And this is very eye-opening for me as well as very informative. And this is something which is very relevant to the current situation where gender sensitive and gender responsive research is very much required. In this context, I would like to share something to you that, in our country, there was a very visionary monk or saint. Saint was there, Swami Vivekananda. Some of you might have heard his name. And he was the pioneer of modern India. And somebody tells him the guru of management also. And he told that the society where women are not empowered, the society cannot be progressed. The society cannot progress where the women are not empowered. And it was very long age back when he told the thing. And this is very true for every era to come and every era with past and every era to come forward and for the present also. So in this context, when we are talking about women empowerment or gender responsive system, and it is very true that still in the Southeastern Asia or country like us, where women are not empowered, they don't have the voice to talk in their very household level to regional, state or national level. Although policies are there, government policies are there, but implementation part, it is very meager. Some of the area, yes, we are also working very well. And now all the things are going very nicely also, things are coming out, but still we need to have some more. And in this aspect, the thing what I learned during the 2 sessions, and I want to incorporate in my research work for the short term is the how the participation of women and what are their, because I am working in the vegetable sector, and here in vegetable sector the participation of female or women is a greater share they are participating in a large way. But the access and decision making power of the enterprise is questionable. They are giving the labor, they are working in the field, but whether the decision making for selection of the crop or marketing of the crop, whether they are deciding or not, and what are the impact of this thing on the livelihood of the family. So whether if this is done by gender responsive way, like female are taking the decisions, how the socially it is impactful, how their children are being well-being or well blessed, and if the decision are taken by men, and if it is gender responsive, if it is gender neutral. So in a
Roy, your minutes are over. Do you still have more content to share?
Oh, my time is over.
Yes.
Okay. So now I complete my lecture because time is over. So first is that thing, the resources, content of resources, access of resources that I want to study, and in the long term, the empowerment, the extent of empowerment, extent of livelihood security, extent of nutritional security. If the resources are with the women, then how in the long term it changes the dynamics of that I want to study in the long term. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. Happy to hear about your how you want to take this forward, especially on the projects that you're working on. We are going to take all the learnings, because if we comment, then others, it may destabilize them. So we are going to take all the learnings from each one. And Roy, thank you for starting us off. Next, I'm going to request Denish to share your key learning, emphasize the short term and also the long term. What is your key learning, your takeaway that you're going to implement in the short run and in the long run? Yes, Denish, over to you. 3 minutes maximum.
Okay, thank you, Losira, and all the participants. This training is very crucial to me. I have understood a lot of things. As I stated in my concept note in my application to Elizabeth, I already told that I have recently brought a project from USDA on cover crop research. We are distributing some cover crop seeds also. We are trying to combat climate change effects for the mid-hill farmers. And a very problem in every research concept note. There was a problem there from the reviewer comments. They always asked me that why you do not include the gender component in your research. This part is very weak. Now, from this training, I am quite confident that I will be able to include the gender component in every stage of the researches. The products we will develop, the dissemination part also we follow, because initially it was only about the number of participants. How many women are there in our training? How many men are there in our training? The only concept we had about gender is that the only thing is that about the number of participants. Now the inclusion on the research part is in every stage of it. The products we will be making should be gender friendly, and the dissemination should be, it should be well understood by women and marginal farmers. And the knowledge what I get from this training I will impart this knowledge in my current project. Within 3 months, I will do these things. I will review every component and the dissemination, the research I will conduct will be in accordance with the gender requirement. And for the long term, I am thinking about developing a research proposal with my stakeholders, together with the stakeholders, particularly on the climate change adaptation measures. And that will be again be focusing on the gender component and how the women and men will be differentially affected by the climate change, and how in what ways they could be solved, their problems could be minimized. Such technologies, such dissemination part, such research product will be formulated on my forthcoming project. And I hope that, I think that I am well equipped for that thing. So the theoretical understanding and some practical tools I have got from this training is very important for me in my life. Thank you. So
okay, much. Thank you so much, Dinesh. We appreciate your key learning. And like you emphasized that you want to integrate the gender component, we just want you to go a little bit further and try to break down when you say you want to integrate the gender component. What do you mean? From what you have learned, what exactly do you want to implement? Okay, do you want to go beyond looking at, let's say, just the men and women, the binary, and try to look deeper into, for example, let's say intersectionality of different things and how they play out as you implement this project? When you talk about research proposal that you're going to develop, what is it that you want to bring new to the project that you'll be implementing? Yeah. So think a little bit more and detail out that gender component. And of course, my colleagues will be highlighting generally at the end, the key things as they see them. So I'm just saying it so that others, as you speak, you bring out those specific learnings, but also explain them for us to understand. Yeah, thank you so much, Denish. And next, I'm going to move to, is it Lemon? Forgive me when I pronounce your names wrongly. I'm going to invite Lemon to share with us. Yes.
Thank you very much, Lucida. Thank you. And you are pronouncing it very well.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Actually, from the very beginning of this training, we have gone through lots of conceptualization regarding the gender responsiveness, plant breeding and seed system, and lots of learning actually. So it is very difficult to summarize. As I am being asked to mention one for each, so I would like to mention here in case of short-term execution, I would like to mention about the mixing of qualitative and quantitative approach together to capture the scenario better. This is the key learning from me during this online training. Most often we ignore qualitative part in case of some researches. So it was a very good learning for me that qualitative mixing of qualitative and quantitative approach could give us a better snapshot of the scenario. So yeah, I will implement this concept just after this training, where I am doing some research work. And in case of long-term execution, I would like to mention about gender transformative approaches. The GTA, we have the literature we have gone through. This could be a very crucial for a long-term execution. When we will plan for a project, long-term project, we will definitely go through it and discuss with our colleagues and try to implement those approaches as much as possible. And I would like to take the opportunity of thanking the entire great team for arranging such a platform, especially for bringing plant breeder, crops, biophysical scientists and social scientists together. Actually, breeder like Eva, breeder like Shova, and social scientists like Ranjita, when they talk together with the same language, same voice, this really gives us some sort of aspirations to go far beyond which we are doing now. So I would really appreciate if the great team continue this kind of approach, and together we will win surely. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much, Lemon. That was exciting. Thank you. We appreciate your commitment to move this forward. Most importantly, to also consider the qualitative part of the story as important to the work that you'll be doing. Yeah, and I actually also appreciate your acknowledgement of the entire organization and the implementation of the training. Thank you so much. Okay, next, I'm going to call upon, is it Vishal Rajan? Okay. Next is, I'm going to invite Vishal Rajan, please. Are you on? I can see you, but I can't see you unmuting your mic. Okay, great. Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you, Dr. Sania. So my short-term short-term learning implication that I want to do is defining a theory while doing the research. Well-defined theory means considering the context on what we are going to work on, then considering every group's perspective, exploring the intersectionality that can affect the research. So those are some of the contexts. Like in the short term, we were discussing about how to define household head, and also in the feminist theory, we explored the intersectionality that can arise. What different group perceive about feminism. So those are some short-term learnings that I should consider in the immediate research proposal. My long-term goal would be like in this the entire training in the part 1 and the part 2 we were talking about gender. So it's not just about one group. Improving one group status, but what I feel is that the relationship between the men farmers or the women farmers has to be improved through this gender responsive training. So it is very important to follow the gender transformative approaches that we learned in this part 2 section. So by that only we can achieve a better, equal, just society where everyone is benefiting from the intervention that we are doing. So it is really important that gender transformative approaches should be implemented or followed in our research project in long term, and that would really benefit us. Thank you, Dr. Shania. That's from me.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much, Rajan, for sharing with us your intentions going forward. And I like the emphasis that just going beyond when we talk about gender, like you've just rightly said, many people think we are talking about women. And of course, you have rightly put it that we need to go beyond this and of course consider men and women of different categories, and also considering the fact that this is a journey, a transformative journey that you are embarking on. I want to appreciate that, and I want to wish you the very best as you move forward. Yeah, thank you. So next we shall have our next participant, and I want to invite Rahman. Forgive me if I sound your name badly. Rahman Heira, please share with us. What are your thoughts? What are you learning? I know you're biophysical, but you've been with us the whole week. And I just want to hear, what is it that you pick out from part 2 that you think will be important for the kind of work that you do?
Thank you.
Over
Thank
to
you for
Yes.
giving me the opportunity that at first on part 1 training, I am so much interested about gender responsive in agriculture and seed system, so that I also take part in the second part, and that my short-term goal is also including the gender responsive or impact of feminization in agriculture in our breeding system or our pathological or disease resistant breeding system, so that we should must consider about the feminization or gender responsive in agriculture. And we also collecting the qualitative and quantitative approaches or data for gender responsive agricultural system, and the long-term research project also including gender transformative approach that are so a collective learning, a participatory approach, and also gender in transformation must be driven who wish to transform their own lives. So the primary outcome is also eligible primary outcome, including measures of gender norms and attitudes, women participation in activities and decision making, and it is so benefited for our agricultural outcomes. So actually it benefited us to giving a woman's empowerment, agricultural and livelihood outcomes, socio-cultural outcomes, nutritional outcomes. So it should be so important to including our research purposes, and it is our long-term goal, and that can be benefited. Thank you.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much, Rahman, for sharing with us your thoughts, and happy to have had through the week, and I can gauge a lot of learning happening there. And I like the emphasis that you put in showing how this will contribute to your biophysical kind of research that you're doing. Thank you so much. And next, I'll be moving in now to call Saila. Yes, Saila, please. The floor is yours. 3 minutes maximum.
Thank you, Nusira, for giving me the space to say something about this wonderful training. Actually, if I want to say about from the very beginning of training, I have a lot to say, whatever I learned from the training. Because this topic, we are all, although we are social scientists, but we are not involved directly in gender related work or like this. Most of our work is gender blind. So this training is very much it is very much helpful for us, and it is needless to say, and we have learned many things from both the physical and virtual session. If now I am if I want to say about the virtual session and what I will implement in my research work. Actually, in my research work, this time I am not able to add gender related work, because my project already I have submitted my project to the government and it is already approved. So in this project, I am not directly adding any component of gender, but whatever I do, it is previously it is only quantitative. Now I am planning to do that. I will also collect some qualitative data. So this in this case, this training helpful, give a space and give more opportunity to know about the qualitative approach. And if you say about what I will use in the long term, then definitely gender related work I will use. Then I have used gender transformative approaches and obviously gender responsive approaches. Whatever the methodology and design we have learned through this, I will apply in maybe within 1 or 2 years. I have applied this. I will apply these things. That's all. And lastly, I want to thank the great team authority for such wonderful training and selecting me. I hope we'll do together in future this type of training, and we'll share our knowledge and we'll work in the same platform. Thank you.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much. And happy to know that even when your project is already submitted and approved, you have room to try and improve on what you have already scheduled to do and incorporate at least the qualitative part to be able to complete the story. And I like the commitment in moving this forward, especially in integrating in your future work in the years to come, but also most importantly, the desire to strengthen the capacity of the team that you're working with. I think if I heard you right, that you intend to have such a training for the people that you work with. I think this will be very great, and we look forward to continuing to engage and making this happen. Yeah. So next, I'm going to invite Niati. Niati, please, the floor is yours. Speak to us in 3 minutes or less.
Thank you, Losira. So first of all, I'm like all the participants mentioned, even I'm equally grateful and very happy to have participated in this workshop. I think even the first part was, of course, it was though personally for me, the first part of the workshop was even more exciting because we were physically present. We could see each other and talk and have those very insightful conversations, which I know is difficult whenever we are on a virtual medium. So that for me was a little difficult because we could see that the similar kind of engaging conversations were low in comparison to what we had in Hyderabad. But I think the most important thing about the second part, which I liked and which I'm going to probably apply more in my research, because also I work on gender research. So for me, something which was very interesting is the principles that was shared on the second day of the workshop, where we discussed about the various principles to keep in mind when we are doing gender research. I think those were very nice, very interesting, and also something which we often tend to forget. So it helped me to reflect again on those principles and to stick to those core principles while conducting gender research. So I think that's something which I look forward to implementing in the research that I do in the short run. But of course, in the long run, it's more about collaborating with people from different disciplines, and how do we take forward and the shared idea and vision of doing gender research and advancing the pathways to advance gender equality is something which is a longer term thing, and which I'm sure, because we have created a good group of scientists who are from social science and non-social science background working together and discussing a lot of things, I think it has really helped us to think about different ways to collaborate with people on a common shared vision. So I think that's something which I would take forward. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Niati. Very happy to hear about your plans going forward. Thank you for sharing. And of course, GREAT is always open to collaboration. The trainers that you have had throughout the sessions are here to support you, and our community of practice is open to receive you and also further the conversation there. So we look forward to collaborating with you and also engaging with you as you plan and implement your research. Yeah. Next, I'm going to invite Virendra, please. The mic is yours.
Thank you, Losira. And I thank everyone, the whole GREAT team, for such a wonderful learning, especially at this phase. Right now, like in coming 3 years, I'm running presently like 2 projects, and I will try to include this in my project. Earlier, we were doing some work on women, but probably in these 3 months, we will organize them in a better way with the background of all the learnings in this training. And maybe after 3 months, I will try to write a project along with some of the people from this team. And definitely there will be a good project we may write with this learning. And the things that I will try to include in my this project will be related to the gender. Okay, it will be related to the gender responsive, maybe some of the things related to gender transformative, and how to conceptualize that, how to operationalize those things in a present projects that I have to see. Like, so this is all from my side.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Brenda, for sharing. And we look forward to being part of the conversation as you work through your research project and as you team up with several of the participants and of course trainers as well to be able to come up with these new projects and going forward to implement them. We look forward to continuing the guidance, providing technical support there. So GREAT is open and GREAT will always be able to support you. And we want to say that move the conversation, yeah? And next we have Faisal. Faisal, I don't know. It seems I've seen you once on the platform. I don't know whether I'm right or wrong. So maybe you could tell us whether you have been with us and probably, I don't know if there's anyone else. I think I'm only left with Faisal, if I'm right. Anyone else that hasn't yet shared? I'm left with Faisal, and I don't know whether I've seen you on the platform several times. So I don't know whether you want to share with us what your learning has been. Faisal, please.
Thank you very much, Lasira. So really, I'm very happy to be a part of this training. But for this second part, my apologies. My office time is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and this training I started at 5 p.m. But my office is in Dhaka, but I am living 30 kilometers away from Dhaka. So it takes 2 to 3 hours to reach my house. That's why I was unable to attend full that second part training course. But though I am a biophysical scientist group, but I try to attend this training. But I want to share my experience from the first training. Yes, really that part was really interesting. And
Faisal, I want to suggest that if it is your learning from the first part, maybe we could pause that for the evaluation because we have an evaluation actually lined up today. So during the evaluation, you'll be able to speak about the first part. But now here we are just looking at this second part only. Yeah, and we acknowledge, like you have said, we acknowledge the challenges you could have faced, like you have explained. And I would say that since your learning is from the first part, we can reserve that for the evaluation. Is that okay with you?
Yes. But
right.
Yeah. So
okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And at this time, I'm going to invite other trainers where you may have any comment on what our participants have shared. Very exciting stories on the journey that they want to embark on to ensure that whatever they do is more transformative and it is gender responsive. So I'll give a chance to our trainers. I saw Prof. Grace, I don't know whether she's still online, Dr. Amon Prof. Margaret, and also Mr. Kayobio. So anyone that, yes, Dr. Amon, please.
Thank you, Lucilla, for this opportunity. I have like 2 minutes remaining. I do not have electricity. I have been hanging in. We lost it here in the lower part of Makerere, but I was excited to hear people tracing learnings from both sections and being able to identify concepts, you know, and relate with these concepts, especially the broader need they have expressed to engage with transformation and the social norms that sort of provide the foundation for gender inequalities. So in a way, you know, I have also had others talk about principles of conducting gender research. I have had about, you know, thoughts around collaboration, you know, writing proposals together. And I can assure you there's much more learning that happens in collaborative team building. So I really want to congratulate them for coming this far, and also to wish them well as they explore new areas of collaboration. I am very sure they will be part of the community of practice of GREAT, and we will continue talking. Thank you so much, Rosita, for this moment.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, Prof. Margaret, please proceed.
Yes, mine is to also add on to what Dr. Amon has said. Very impressive learning. You can see that the participants have been able to really internalize and I'm sure what you've shared is just a tip, but I've been impressed by your ability to go beyond just, you know, the sex disaggregation, men and women, but you engage with, I had gender relations, you go into that. I had gender norms and other social norms that underpin gender inequality. I also had mixed methods, essentially you planning to transform or change the way you do your research, and even venturing into gender transformation, that space which is not easy. Maybe what I would want to add on is that actually all the topics we've covered in this course were at introductory level. So for you to go into the genuine application, you need to look out for more opportunities to further your skills, your knowledge in this area. For example, mixed methods. Many of us trained, you know, in the fields of agriculture, economics, extension, and social science are comfortable with quantitative, but qualitative research needs rigor that is at the same level as quant. And if you are to mix the two, both have to be rigorous. So I would urge you to continue deepening your skills. Skills means you apply, you learn. So whenever you hear of, you know, qualitative analysis being advertised as a course, please go for it so that you're able to get the skills to really apply mixed methods in a rigorous scientific manner. And also you can have self-directed training. There is a lot of courses online that you can take to deepen your skills in this area. I also had about, I think it was Tyler who mentioned that there is a project that has been approved, but without gender. I want to encourage you that even if it has been approved without gender, you can actually add it and add value, you know, in things like, you know, sampling, sex disaggregation, dissemination. These principles that we have shared really add value without changing budget. There are those that change budget for sure, but there are those that are budget neutral. So for those, I would urge you to really add gender, because when you do, the impact of your results is greater for men and women. So yeah, very impressive. I would like to stop it there.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Prof. Margaret, for recalling the key things coming out And thanks again, Dr. Amon, for emphasizing the threads that you have seen and people carrying forward from the first part to this particular second part of the training. At this time, I want you to permit me to invite Mr. Godfrey to take us through the course evaluation. Like I said, when Faizo wanted to speak, that we at GREAT would like in learning, learning about the process, learning about the content that we share, learning about our engagement with you, learning how you want to move this forward. So at GREAT, we believe in your feedback and honest feedback. And I want to invite Mr. Kaboyo to give us a highlight of what we expect to find in the evaluation and help us engage through the evaluation process. Godfrey, over to you, please. And Godfrey, you have about 15 minutes to do this. Yeah, thank you. Godfrey, I don't know whether you're able to hear. I see your mic is still muted. I haven't seen your video, so I'm not quite sure whether you're hearing what I'm saying. Elizabeth, in case you're able, maybe you could share the screen. Oh, okay. I've seen a reaction from Godfrey, meaning that he's joining. And Elizabeth has already shared in the chat the evaluation form. So after Godfrey comes through to explain, you can already click on that link, follow through, and be starting on the evaluation. Godfrey, are you able to hear?
In case Godfrey is not able to, I can just take us through quickly. This is a very quick evaluation form. We love feedback, like Dr. Resser has just said. It mirrors largely what you filled after the end of part 1, but this focuses on part 2, and it will take us about 15 minutes. Please give us your honest feedback. Thank you.
Okay, Elizabeth, also maybe you could try, I've tried to ask him to unmute. He sent a message in the chat that he wants, please unmute me. So you try to see, maybe if you can ask, I've tried to send a prompt. It seems it hasn't yet worked, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, so we have about 15 minutes to do the evaluation, and once you're done, you can always submit and also post for us, just to share in the chat that either you're done or you have finished. We want to do this here rather than you doing it now after we have closed. So when you finish your evaluation, just post in the chat, tell us that you're finished or you're completed or you're done, so that we can know that you're done. Thank you. To our learning by completing the evaluation form. Next slide, please. So at this moment, I want to invite our PI, Professor Margaret Mangeni, to give us the closing, and towards the end, probably we shall take a group photo. Please don't go off, hang in there till when we take a group photo. Okay, thank you. Over to you, Prof. Margaret.
Thank you.
Someone has a background noise. I don't know who that could be. Probably you control. Godfrey, cross-check. I see your mic. Okay. Yes, over to you, Prof.
Okay, thank you very much, Losira, for ably steering us through the week. And as we come to a close, it's really a celebration, and I want to make just a few remarks. Next slide, please. The first one is a thank you and a big thank you.
Is it on my side?
Huh?
It is okay here, Lucira.
Yeah, we are okay now, I think. Yes, the first is to really thank you. It's not easy as adults to take time off. First, we were in India together in the physical course, and now we've been here for the virtual course. Many sacrifices, but it shows that you are committed to the subject of gender responsiveness and gender equality. So thank you so much for keeping active, keeping alert, and participating all the way through, and also for the commitments that you have made to implement what you have learned. I also want to thank the trainers. They have prepared, they have delivered passionately. Thank you so much for those who are still online, but also those who are not here. I also want to thank the organizations that you represent as participants, because you took time off from work so that you are able to devote to studies. So thanks to the organizations, and when you go back, please thank your supervisors who have been able to let you off to come and study. And of course, for this, our prayer is that there will be value add. When you go back to your organizations, you conduct better research, more impactful research, so that the employers also see that the time that you spent away was worth it. So our thanks to the employers as well. And also the partners that we have flashed here. We flashed a few logos, but indeed there are many behind this effort. Makerere University, of course, and Cornell, that are co-designed and are delivering this course. Our thanks to these organizations, the CG and the Gender Platform that is hosting GREAT currently. We are very grateful. And also to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which gives us the core funding for this work. Our appreciation to these organizations. And the next message that I want to convey is really to reiterate the fact that as we started, we mentioned that we expected full attendance. We realized that virtual trainings can be very challenging, people are on and off, but really if one doesn't attend, then they haven't gained much. But for you who have been attended all the way through, thank you so much. We also expected engagements in exercises, in presentations, and the majority of you have actually delivered on all those fronts very ably, actively participating, logging on even when electricity is challenging. But 3 participants whose names will not appear on the list below did not meet the requirements for certification, because for challenges here and there, they were not able to engage and therefore meet the requirement of full attendance. So we applaud you who were able to participate fully, and more specifically, we are applauding the biophysical scientists, Hela and Ramya, who attended, Manoj, Sam, and Hela is still online. So really, we applaud you for being part of this social science course, part 2, because part 1 was combining both, but this one was targeting social scientists. But the biophysical scientists who are able to attend, we recognize you in a special way. The next is a list of those who were able to attend fully. Liz, you can flash the list of those who have been attending fully. Niyati's there, and Roy, Bilendra, congratulations, and Sailor, Dinesh, that one failed. Number 6, excuse me, Bishwa, and there is another one, yes, Limon. So those 8 have been attending consistently, and we congratulate you for completing the course. And also to say that because we are virtual, we are going to be sending the certificates virtually. So congratulations. The next I'll hand over to Liz so that she's able to guide us on how to keep engaged and really keep communicating. As you shared, you indicated future collaborative work, future projects. It's really a journey, as we said, when we were in India. We want to keep moving together towards gender equality, gender transformation, each one of us contributing a part, and to working together to achieve this. So congratulations again. And yeah, over to you, Liz.
Congratulations, everyone. Okay, thank you very much, Margaret, for taking us through, and thank you very much, Lucira, for steering the program today. So like all of us are saying in our feedback, we need to stay connected. And how do we do this? I'll start with our WhatsApp group. Some of you are already there. Those of us that are yet to join, we encourage you to join. We'll be sharing the link with you in the chat. Let's keep in touch. And you never know, the collaborations can come to fruition, like all of us would like to do. We also are present on the various social media sites. We have a Twitter handle, which is this. I've seen some of you are already liking, some of you are already tweeting and retweeting. Great job. Let's keep together in that space as well. In addition, we do have quarterly newsletters. Those of you that have been on our website, we have an entire page where we publish all the newsletters that we disseminate to the various partners and individuals in the agriculture and gender ecosystem. In case you haven't signed up yet, we encourage you to do so, so that we keep in touch. We know what you're doing and you also know what we are doing. And after this time, I want to call for any announcements you may have in your work, anything related to gender and agriculture that you're doing. It can be a blog about this course that you participated in. We have a newsletter coming in the next 1 week. We can keep in touch on that. I was on social media and I found some of these. I saw Niyati, I saw Dinesh on LinkedIn, I saw Niyati again on LinkedIn, I saw Virendra I think on Twitter and on Instagram as well. Please keep these conversations. We'll keep in touch in this space. Now we are going to have a group photo. These are some of the memories from India. So we are going to create another memory by turning on our cameras and taking a group photo, and then we can stay around for those who may want to chat, and we can call it a course. Thank you very much. We keep in touch. Now I request you to turn on your cameras and we take a group photo. Roy, I see you. Hasbul, I see you. Okay, Lucira, I miss your photo. I miss your video.
My video is actually on. I don't know why. Are you able to see it now?
Oh.
Yes, it's on. Thanks. Yeah.
Yes, it is on now. I miss others. I don't know if it is an issue at my end. I miss Bishra, I miss Niyati.
Niyati is there.
Okay, so Lucira, in case you can see them, in case you can see those that I can't see, I'll request you to take a screenshot from your end as well, and then you'll compare notes. Okay, we'll be taking in the next 2 seconds.
I see everyone. I'm trying to check the screen. I hope it does capture.
Okay. Great. I've taken from this side. The ones I can see, I request you to take from your end as well.
Just hang in there.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This course has ended, but our engagement has just started. We wish everyone the best, and we hope to keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, Prof.
You
Thank
say
you.
Mama stay. What did we say? Liz,
Namaste.
you said the right word.
It's namaste.
Namaskar.
Those who are
Namaskar.
physical in India, say the real word.
Congratulations and celebrations, and I tell everyone that you're in love with me. Congratulations and jubilations.
Thank you. Well done, team. You've been an amazing team. Thank you. Wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
That was in the bad old days before
Thank
I
you,
met
Faisal. Thank you,
When I
Vera.
let
Thank
you
you, Roy.
walk into my
Goodbye.
heart.
Narendra. We keep in touch. Saila.
Congratulations
Oh,
and
Bangladesh.
celebrations when I tell everyone that you're in love with me. Congratulations and jubilations. I want the world to know I'm happy as can be. I was afraid that maybe you thought you were above me, that I was only fooling
Narendra,
myself.
congratulations and thank you.
But then tonight you said you couldn't live without me. The roundabout me, you wanted to stay.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Last few days we were in